get started in just a minute here.
Years from now, men will say, here began the fall of Rome.
Alright, we're gonna get started in just a minute here. Okay. Plug everything up. Let me get started. I don't know what was going on the other day, but when I was rewatching part of it, I heard that my voice was echoing. I didn't like that, but I just checked it now and it seems to be doing okay. I do not know why that is. Do not know what that was about, but whatever. We will not let it stop us this evening. So let's pick up where we left off. We are still attempting to reclaim the world in the rightful name of the Western Roman Empire. And I believe last we nearly killed the Emperor. That wasn't good. That was not good at all. Killing emperors is only good if we are attacking said emperors. It's not so great if we are said emperor. Ooh, Septimania. Say that 5 times fast. I dare you. All right, so let's see. Where is our grand and glorious? Oh, there they are. There is the remains of our grand and glorious legion, and it needs to head back home. Oh, that's right. I can't do that with one screen anymore, or 2 screens anymore. Let's see, we have consumption. Let's see where we left off. We have the rebels to the north. We have the Northmen. Oh, and more rebels. Yes, very good. More rebels, yes. Visontio. Hello, Palatina. We're not going to worry about them right now. We will defend ourselves if we need to. Oof. That's no good. Negative 45 food. And we do need to take Domavia back, and we are eking by over here in Sirmium and Savaria. Thanks to Savaria, but I don't know if that's going to last very long. Yeah, it's not going to last. I've got the Huns at my doorstep. This is not going to last very long. We have, who are those are rebels. Yeah, we got rebels all over the place. Hey. Okay, let's see here. Do I want to train maybe another unit? Another unit of cohorts would not hurt, but I'd rather have another level of, or another group of velites. Ooh, rebels here. We have no army, so we'll just have to make do with what we got. Constantina, Caesarea, Tingi. Oh, that's right, and I think I had some rebels up here too. That's right, I had rebels up here I had to deal with, which is why I did not take Tingi. Or no, sorry, Tamuzi, I don't know, those guys. Because I wanted to basically protect my little colony in Spain here. Colonies. And aside from that, I think we are doing good. So, I try not to bring up news in my streams, but I do have something that I thought would be funny. I'll say it's funny. It's not that funny, but it's somewhat humorous to me, and it's really bad. I shouldn't be laughing at it. But apparently, a submarine has gone missing in Indonesia, and part of me found that a little bit humorous and a little concerning. My first response was, "Oh my God, what kind of submarine just went missing?" You know, subs have a tendency to go missing, and usually nothing bad happens, but submarines tend to have different uses depending upon the type of submarine. And I looked it up. I tried my best to find out what it was, and actually, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but the oh crud, what were they? Oh my gosh, now I gotta look it up again. USA Today, that's what it was. USA Today actually tells us what kind of submarine it is. Like everybody else won't tell us what kind of submarine it is, but at least USA Today was telling us what kind of submarine it was. And luckily for us, it's an old 1970s little Ford diesel engine submarine that has gone missing off the coast of Bali, I think. And this is before I knew that. My first response was, please tell me this isn't a nuclear submarine. I mean, at the very least, if a nuclear submarine goes missing, oh, oh my, Visigoths are not playing around right now. But my second thought was the fact that, well, submarines are kind of designed to go missing. That's kind of their point. And of course, that's not the case for this one. That was, and unfortunately, I feel bad for people on board. You know, they've got 72 hours left to get oxygen. Or sorry, they've got 72 hours of oxygen left. That's sad. That's bad. I hope that they're okay. Hopefully this is going to be like a Kursk situation, except for the Kursk. Oh god dang it! There's no point in fighting this, but let's do it. Hopefully this is like a Kursk situation where maybe the boat had a leak, but unlike the Kursk, hopefully the authorities or whoever finds them will get to them and get them out fast enough. Because yeah, I can only imagine the terror of me. Look, I've almost drowned a couple of times in my life. I've every time it's terrifying to me, and it should be terrifying to everybody. Drowning is probably one of the worst ways you can die. So I'm hoping that those people are found. But whew, man, it made me. When I read the headline of submarine goes missing, my first response was, "Oh, that's kind of silly," and the next part response was, "Oh my god, that's horrifying," and followed by like a, "Oh god." So it's like I thought I'd share because I'm a horrible human being. Oh, this is gonna be a complete and utter massacre. There's no way I'm even having a chance of surviving this, but at least I can do some damage. I'm not even gonna bother listening to this. I'm gonna die. It's just the plain and simple truth. I'm gonna die. Oh, good. More. Yeah, so let's just charge them. There's no point. Let's just charge them. There's no hope here. Like, we've abandoned that for a while now. Oh, I hate the Huns so much. Yeah. How many did I kill? I want to know. How many did I kill? Probably not even 20. Oh, they lost 100. I killed 117 of them. That's not bad. Oh, then they had help. Those buggers. They had help from the Western Roman Empire separatists. Those buggers. I hope you're happy. I hope you're all very, very happy. Oh, you buggers. You know how much money that's going to cost? It's a lot of money you just burned to the ground there, sir. You jack off. Ugh. I know the Huns don't care, but that's good money I just lost there. Anyway, so yeah, I actually try to educate myself on that submarine for a little bit because I don't know much about subs, but it sounds like an old torpedo boat. Sorry, torpedo boat. It just sounds like an old little submarine meant to just torpedo boats out of the water. Not great to go missing, but at least the suspected outcome was that unfortunately it did sink. And I really, really hope that everybody's okay. Hopefully that they all get picked up and found in time. But, I mean, the whole purpose of a submarine is to go missing. It's not designed to be found. So, I don't know if having hope here is, if there's much hope for these people, unfortunately. And I hate to be that way. I really do. I really wish that I was being just negative to be negative and just being a Debbie Downer for no reason, but I feel bad for these people. I really do. As someone who has almost drowned on like 4 separate occasions, I can't imagine asphyxiation is much better, even if they didn't drown. But apparently that boat was refitted in South Korea and then sold to Indonesians. And oof, man, just again, talk about things that scare the living daylights out of me. And actually, one of the things I was going to talk, one of the things that actually happened to me not too long ago today, today, I was not too long ago, I mean today, was a very, very, very traumatizing experience. I got to relive moments that I thought I had blocked out of my memory for a very, very long time. So the other day, or sorry, today, not the other day, I was speaking to one of my family members, and they were telling stories to friends about some awful experiences we had as children. And I forgot about this entirely, but there was a year where I almost died like at least once a month. And I had completely blotted this out of my memory because why the hell would I want to remember any of it? And I'm going to see if I can remember all of it right now, because as they were telling it, I was actually reliving part of it. It's stuff that I had forgotten, and as they were saying it, I was like, oh my god, that did happen. Oh my god, that happened too. Oh my god. It just got worse and worse and worse and worse. Just as the day went on, or as the party slash story went on, my horror just became more and more and more apparent. Where I was just looking at my drink, just going, "Oh my god, what is happening here?" So I was a youngin. I was a wee little lad back then, and I think we had that month. Oh no. And that year, we had a whole bunch of field trips. Again, I was a child, so we had a whole bunch of little field trips. You know, like, oh yay, we're gonna go to wherever. And so the first place we went to was Schlitterbahn. Okay. Now, I don't know if anybody knows what Schlitterbahn is, but basically it's like a water park. That's all it is. It's just a big water park. And I had never been to Schlitterbahn, but I was told, hey, it's one of the greatest places that you can go to. It's a lot of fun. I was like, oh, cool, this will be a lot of fun. Yay. So, I was kind of excited. I was kind of excited. I was really excited. Let's move these guys over here. And so we had a choice to go with family or friends, but at the end of the day, the whole class was going to be going to Schlitterbahn. And I was fine with this. I was totally on board with this. I was having a great time. And so I'm excitedly going, oh, yay, we're going to go to Schlitterbahn. I've never been there. It's going to be so much fun. And my friends had been there. It was great. So I managed to convince my parents to let me go, which was very difficult, actually, because we didn't have really the money. So we asked some family for some money, I think, and then they got me the chance to go. On our way there, I'm in my friend's RV, and the RV basically has a flat and skids off the side of the road. Skids off the side of the road into a ditch. And of course, I'm not wearing my seatbelt because I am a stupid child. Oh, crap. Ooh, this is gonna hurt. Don't hit the side. I'll just have to charge right into him. So, we didn't even do anything yet. I got cavalry. So we skid off the side of the road. The giant freaking bus that we're on basically crashes into a ditch. I go flying, smack my head against a desk, or I guess it was not a desk. It was more like a table that was meant for eating off of, like a little, it's like a little rollout table. Smack my head on the desk, smack to the ground, and I'm unconscious. I then wake up the following morning with a massive headache, a welt, and I'm being told that, like, we're going to be a day behind of everybody else, but, like, we're going to get there. And I'm like, oh, yay, and I just have this massive headache. It just won't go away. Now, because I am an idiot, and I think my friend's dad asked me, do you need to go to the hospital? My answer was, no, I don't want to miss Slip. Because I'm a friggin' moron. Excuse me. This was the beginning of the trip. And this trip lasted maybe about a week. And it only goes downhill from here. Because this is where things start to go really, really south, just for the year, if I'm not mistaken. But when we get there, I'm excited. I'm having fun. Even though I have this giant welt on the side of my head. Well, it felt giant. When I actually looked at it in the mirror, it wasn't that bad. Let's speed this up. They're not going to do anything. So as the day goes on, we're having fun. We're having a good old time, and we go to the wave pool. And if you don't know what a wave pool is basically this giant pool, but at the front of it, or I guess the back of it, is this giant motor that basically sends these waves out, and it basically pulls the water back and then shoots it out forward. That way, it creates those little waves. And I learned this because it almost killed me. Let's see if we can kill as many of these guys as we can. So what ends up happening is that there's actually at the very back of the wave pool, at least the ones that I've been to, and I've been to maybe 2 or 3. The back, they have like little buoys and whatnot that you can get to, but you're not supposed to cross a certain line. But I wanted to get as close to the waves at their origination point as possible. So what does my dumb butt do? I cross the line and I want to ride the wave as much as I can. Except I didn't get to ride the wave. Oh, I did ride the wave. I also rode the undertow, and the undertow caught me. And it was pushing me around, cycling me forward and backwards, and disorienting me to where I couldn't really tell where up or down was. And I also couldn't go up for air because, well, it's pulling and pushing me because, again, I'm a kid. I don't really have the strength to outswim it that well. At least if I do, I'm not going to get very far with it. And in the process, oh, we got one more. Let's see, is anybody else going? Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, let's see if we can get you over there. You're probably going to be exhausted soon, and you're winded. Yeah. So as I'm over there, I'm getting sucked around, and I'm starting to kind of like get super disoriented. My lungs are screaming at me, like, please just go for air. And I'm trying to find anything to grab onto. If I have something to grab onto that floats, anything, I can get away. You know, I can at least from there use that to buoy myself up something. At least I know where I am. And I can't find anything. I can't grab anything. I can't grab a rope. I can't grab anything. And nobody notices this. And of course, why would you? Because nobody's supposed to be where I'm at. Finally, I guess I'm being pushed out and back, and being flipped around in the process. And finally, I managed to like bump into somebody's leg, and I just grab on, and I just hold him, and I start wailing on his leg. I'm just hitting him, and so he reaches down and grabs me up, and I just like. But like right before then, right as I'm about to bump into his leg, or right before I bump into his leg, things started to black out for me. Like they started to go like very fuzzy. I was really not able to feel anything anymore. I was starting to kind of just go limp, and like as soon as I hit him, it like woke me up, and I started wailing on his leg until he grabbed me up and he pulled me right out of the water. I don't remember if he was mad because I was still trying to recover. My ears were ringing. And all I remember was hearing and I think I said thank you. If I didn't, I meant to. Because I said something to him, but I clung on to him for dear life. It's this big old this big old Mexican guy. And I'm laughing, but like I was terrified, and I hung onto his arm. Oh, I think I was on the borderline of crying, and I was like, thank you so much. I think his anger went from like mild frustration to like, oh my god, real quick, and he actually was nice enough to carry me back to the shore. But afterwards, he just kind of stuck me on the shore, didn't know what to do with me, so he just walked away. As I'm like coughing up water. Because I'm an idiot who didn't know that not to go near the frickin' engine in the wave pool. Oh man. That was the first time I almost drowned it. There are 3 more instances coming because I didn't learn my lesson the first time. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. What do you need? What do you have? What does your character sheet look like? You have authority, cunning. Let's see. Let's give you some authority. It's cunning. Let's give you some authority. And let's give you some melee defense. And you, ooh, you were like, I'm just gonna go auto-resolve this fight. Let's just knock this off my plate real quick. Oh, come on, don't run away. Just be a good boy and die. I'm not gonna bother fighting that fight. There's no point. Good lad. You died like a hero. Alright, let's see here. Let's give myself... Do I want public order, morale, integrity? What's your... I mean, your integrity's doing okay. I think I'm doing okay without integrity. So let's do... Well, it doesn't matter. I gotta get something here, so... That'll be fine. Alright, let's see. Let's fix that. Now, the second time I almost drowned, a buddy of mine almost did it. So, at the Schlitterbahn that I was at, there's this, like, this boogie boarding wave pool thing where you have this kind of like this quarter pipe that you would see in, like, a skate park. But on the quarter pipe, they would basically shoot water up it, and so you have this giant stream of water just riding up, and the idea was that you slide down this little water slide, this little tubey water slide with a little boogie board, and you hit that wave, and the goal is to stay on it as much as possible. You know, of course, 9 out of 10 people, whenever they hit that wave, they just crashed and looked like a darn fool. So, and there's this long line, and of course, on the line, there's this long... Like you can see everything that happens. So we're getting up to it. We're having fun. We're screwing around, and we decide to get on this thing, which is totally fine. We had a lot of fun doing it. I had fun doing it, and it basically fed into what would equate to the lazy river. Fantastic. I like the lazy river. Lazy river after almost drowning was fantastic. At least that was my thought. And so we. Oh man, hold on. Let's see. Love of 'em. I need you back, but I also need to see what I'm doing before I go there. Can I make it there? Yes, I can. Oh, snap. No. I am not about to go take on a rebel force along with... No. Just no. No. Where is my heir, anyway? I don't have an heir. Oh my god, he died. That's not good. That's not good at all. So, I get on the board. And I basically just kind of dive down, and I'm like, here we go. And so I just dove right down. And of course, I hit the water, hit the stream, and bam, the board flies out from under me. And I go face planting into the jet stream and just go flying across the quarter pipe. I just fly right out of it. And of course, all my friends are laughing at me. I'm laughing at me. This is funny. This is stupid. It was still fun. So afterwards, I outside the. Oh wow, really? Just one guy? Let's have some fun. Let's just pelt this guy. What was I pelt? Let's just go ahead and just nail this guy with velites, whatever they're called. So I basically get out to the end of it. My face kind of hurts a little bit more because, you know, head injury followed by almost drowning, followed by smacking my head into the quarter pipe. I'm not feeling too great, but I'm still having fun. So I wait at the end of the little exit because the jet stream pushes you out towards this little area, and let's get these guys over here, and let's get some two cohorts just in case I need them to bail somebody out. And so, as we do this, so it's one by one, my friends essentially do the same thing, and I can barely see them because of where I am. I can't actually see what's going on when they do it because there's this giant wall in my way, but I do get to see like them slide down, followed by their board flying up, followed by a loud crunch, which is when they hit the plastic quarter pipe or whatever that stuff's made out of. And slowly but surely, one by one, they all come out, and we're all having fun. And so we all laugh because we're all, you know, basically getting nailed by this giant, we're getting nailed by this this stupid little thing. Really? I never would have guessed. And at the end of it, my last friend comes up. His name was Harrison, and we all decide, hey, let's just kind of, it's almost time for lunch. Let's go ahead and let's just hang out. Let's just kind of float around the lazy river, grab an empty tube or something, and just kind of hang out. So we start this process, and do skirmish mode here. Do skirmish mode for you guys, and then let's put you. Yeah, you're already in that pike formation, the pike wall formation. So we God dang it, come on guys. I don't think I need you guys to be running, but whatever. So we all start going down the lazy river, and I don't know why this chick did this. I don't know why, but I hear, "Hey kid," no rhyme or reason. Like, nothing's happening. I've never seen this girl before in my life. I don't know who she is. I don't know why she's there, but she taps me on the shoulder and goes, "Hey kid," and I turn around, and it's this chick who's a few years older than me. Go, "Hey," and I said, "Hey," and as I'm saying "hey," everything starts to slow down because she's lowering her top, and I was like, "What is going on?" And I'm kind of confused. I'm like, "This is nice." And of course, what follows is my friend going, he yells my name, and then just drags me underwater, and I just take in a lung full of water, and he drags me down and doesn't let go. And he stays on me like freaking white on rice, and he's the fattest of all of my friends. He's the biggest dude in the group. And oh my god, I was drowning instantly. And he must have, again, it was probably only a few seconds. But when I got up, I pelted him right across the face. I was like, "You son of a bitch." It's like, "You a-hole." He's like, "What?" It's like, "You're too young for that." I was like, "I'm not that young." But I think I was down there, but I was like coughing up water. I was literally coughing up more water because, again, Schlitterbahn had it out for me. That was it wasn't enough to drown almost twice, and total of 3 times so far in one event. It had to be one more. So let's see. I think there's one more time at the Schlitterbahn. So the day's over. I'm very tired now. I'm exhausted because we've been going around everywhere. We've been doing as much as we can. We've been going on these different slides. My head still hurts, but I'm still having fun. And so, let's move this back. So the next thing my smart, intelligent friends do is they decide they want to go to the river right outside. Okay, like there's a river right outside of where we are. Let's see. Of course, there's a river right outside the back of our little bunks and whatnot, or what do you want to call them, the little bungalows that we have. And okay, we're just gonna go out there. We're gonna go swimming for a little bit. But behind this is there's a dam that was supposed to be where a lot of the I guess the river people would kind of come to. That's where they'd stop. So the river would start way upstream, and people would kind of like actually lazy river their way down a natural river towards Schlitterbahn, where they would kind of get off, and then they would do whatever they wanted to. Or I guess got off and then got food and then went to Schlitterbahn or whatever. But essentially, you would stop there, and then you were basically stopping right at the location of Schlitterbahn bunkhouses, and then from there you can actually get tickets to get in and whatnot, which is kind of cool. So that's fine. But the dam that was supposed to stop that stuff was broken, and they never ever bothered to clean it up or fix it. And so there was a really strong current there, which was a lot of fun actually for the people that were looking to. Let's see, Ironsmith. I'm wondering if I should just solidify these locations, if that would be better. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to have 6 turns to really hold on to this place, but I think it's my best bet. I think that is my best bet. I just don't see myself holding on to Visantio or Octoduram long term, but I think I can hold Mediolanum, Genoa maybe, and Segusio maybe. So, but across this river was kind of like a little forest and a riverbank, and the riverbank had lots of cool little shells and things that had washed up on it. And so a lot of my friends would swim across it, you know, and some of them were actual swimmers. They actually swam for like for school stuff. Uh, and so they start swimming across, and one of the guys, again, I'm beat down, I'm tired, I don't have the energy to do much else, and they like, hey, why aren't you in there? Are you scared of the water? And I was like, no, I'm exhausted. Like, we'll be ready for tomorrow. And this idiot of a child who later on became one of my least favorite people in the world, not because of this, but for 1,000 other reasons, goes, what, it's not like you did anything all day, you could swim, and he just shoves me right in, and he actually pushes me over this destroyed rebar that essentially acted as like a little miniature fence, just shoved me over right into the current that yanks you down out of the dam. So first thing is I hit the water, and the first thing that happens to me is I again hit my head on broken concrete. Now, it wasn't a hard hit, but it didn't require much. This is now like my 4th head injury in the span of 48 hours. Again, it wasn't a hard hit, but it was enough to make me. It was enough to disorient me a little bit, and well, royally piss me off too. Okay, we need to teach some people some manners here. Yeah, and oh, jeez, okay, hold on. Losing my train of focus because I'm trying to make sure everything is going to be set here. Sanitation +4. So why are you guys so unhappy? Characters, immigrants, taxes, religious differences. Do I not? I don't have a... Oh, yeah, I do. Right here. Let's do that. Let's get you guys down here. But do y'all have anything up here that I want? I'll take the Germanic pikemen. So anyway, I got sucked out into the undertow of the current, and the current downriver is much stronger, and there's a lot of little whirlpools and undertows. And so my first thought was, okay, I need to find the ground and push up because I didn't have a lung full of air. You know, I'm not drowning yet, but I'm not doing well. And again, I'm exhausted. I don't have the energy to do much here. I'm basically just trying to keep my head above water until I can get out of the currents. And right as I get pushed in, I guess a group of people are also kind of coming down the river. Oh, I forgot about you, sir. Let's see. Melee defense. Cunning. Authority. Let's do that. Although we don't have any cavalry, but maybe I'll be able to change that soon. I don't know. Domavia. You're desolate. So what was yours? Which one's desolate? Sopanane, Sopiane, and then what is this? I don't even have a name for it. Crap. All right. So after that, I'm desperately looking for the ground because I hit my head. I'm now kind of like floating in the water, and I'm just kind of floating in the middle of the river under the water. I kind of just rotate myself around, and I just kind of reach out in any direction. Nothing really happens, and so I just start swimming in any direction because I know it's not very wide. I'll either hit air, hit bottom, or hit a bank soon enough. Like, I'm gonna hit something somewhere eventually. And as I'm swimming to the side, or I think I was swimming to the side, I think I still had my orientation. I still knew where I was. I get hit, or I get sucked down by an undertow, and I hit the ground. Like, so I think my side hit the ground. And my first response was, "Oh, thank God! Now I know which way is up." So I immediately, you know, I'm getting pulled down. I'm still good being carried with the current. So I just kind of kick my feet as hard as I can at the ground, and I get above the water. And the first thing I scream is, "F you, Alex," because Alex is the guy that pushed me over the darn rail. And I immediately get sucked back down again. And again, because I'm an idiot and I expelled all of my air, I didn't take another breath. So I get sucked back down again, but not far enough. But again, I'm still being pulled along with the current, and the current is going forward and down. So I, kick back up as hard as I can. I get to the top, and I'm take a large lungful of air, get sucked down again. This happens 4 more times, and now I'm starting to not be able to get enough air because I'm getting so tired. I can barely make it to the surface. I'm just too tired. So I start reaching out for something to grab onto, and there's this stereotypical tuber who's this fat guy, bald, and the only reason I know what he looked like is because afterwards I wanted to hit this guy so bad. So I jump up, I grab onto his tube, and he smacks my hand away as I take a lungful of air, and I told him and then go down and get sucked back under to undertow. And to which then I kick back up, try to grab onto his tube. He smacks my hand away, and he just goes, "Keep your head above," and then I get sucked back down again. This guy was such. Man, I hope this guy had a blown time. I don't wish bad. I don't wish that he was hurt. I just wish that he had something very inconvenient that happened to him on the way home. Screw this guy. And let's see. I get back up, and again, he just goes, "You just gotta kick your," and then I get sucked back down again. I'm starting to kind of like, I'm starting to just not be able to move my muscles anymore. I'm just too tired. And I kind of reach my hand up one last time, like grasping for anything. And if it wasn't for one of my friends, who is like, oh, sorry, it's my brother's friends, who was with us, who dove in after me. He saw what happened and dove in after me and swam as hard as he could to get me. If it wasn't for him, I'm pretty sure I'd be dead. Because as I reach my hand up, he sees it, he grabs it. He can't pull me up because he's swimming. So what he does, he dives down, grabs me by the waist, and I'm kind of starting to kind of fade out again. And he takes us to the bottom, kicks up, from what he tells me, and he drags me to the shore where I start coughing up water. And I don't even know how I got there, really. I just know that I was reaching for something and somebody grabbed me, and then he told me what he did. And, oh, hello. Wow, I got a lot of people that have some skills here. Okay, hold on. Let's do this. So, governor. What do I need from a governor? Which one's the ones that, yeah, this is the one I want. Less corruption here. Oh, that's right. You still have stuff here. Persuade. That doesn't sound bad. And a provincial governor. Did I lose a governor? When did I lose a governor? Okay, let's see here. But he tells me what happens, and of course I'm too tired. I'm too tired to even be mad. I just lie there on the bank, and he just kind of sitting there next to me, just looking off over it at Alex, who shoved my butt in. And let's do that, and then let's do that. And let's see what place that I can use a governor. And oh, hold on, let's see, hold on. I'm lying in there on the little beach side. I'm kind of like I got spots in my eyes. Like I'm just not seeing. My head is throbbing. I can just hear my heartbeat in my own head. I'm having fun, but man, am I just beat to hell. Let's see here. Am I missing anything? No, I don't have much money left either. Ironically, the more stuff they take, apparently the more money I get. I guess these places are costing me money, not actually making me any money. Let's see, do I want to try and take these guys? I kind of don't. I don't want to play offense just yet, but I really need to. I know they got a gold mine here. Wouldn't be bad to take, but I don't think I can take every. Yeah, I can't take everything. Constantinopolis is there. So he, so, you know, we eventually he's like, all right, you got the energy to swim to shore. So we actually, you know, just get in the water and we just swim downstream until there's no more current. There's nothing there to kind of swim against. And then we walk back up. And then to add insult to injury, I think I stepped on some barbed wire that had come down, or at least a barb of some kind that was kind of buried in the mud. You know, I went to the little first aid station they had there. They patched me up, and I had already had my tetanus booster, so I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm not gonna get in any. I'm not in any real danger, but god dang it, why? Let's see. Do I have 3 cohorts? Let's get a few more of these. Oh, that's right. Provincial governors. I need to find a provincial governor to use somewhere. Rome. Let's see. What about? Nope. That could use a governor. That's 1658, and the population's not very happy because events. What events have happened here? Oh, I got disease, so I need to actually expand upon this and build that my next turn, more than likely. We get back up there. Alex is with all his stupid little friends, and they are actually avoiding me like the plague because I'm going to kill them. Especially because he almost made me drown. And that actually sets the that should set the tone for the rest of my relationship with that guy when I was in school. That guy and I never ever got along. I think the best we ever got along is whenever we played football together. That was about it. And when I say we got along, I mean that I intentionally did not let people get by me and let him get tackled. That was the extent of our friendship. Very good friends, of course. Oh god, I didn't do it. Jeez, I need to start paying attention more. All right, let's see here. I'll put him in Rome. Actually, no. Let's not put him in Rome just yet. Let's keep looking for places we can put him. Carthage. That has a play. That has a little leader. That might not be. It's a safe place for him. We could just kind of lower the corruption there. Maybe get some more money off of it. That might not be a bad idea. It's got plenty of food, so we got lots of room for growth. I want to put you someplace that you'll actually do me some good. The only problem is this is kind of exposed. I've got people right on the way here. I've got multiple armies right at this doorstep, and I don't want to lose it, but I don't know if I'll have a choice. Now this place has got an abundance of food, but lots of religious differences. Immigrants, taxes. I mean, I'm going to be building a lot of waterworks soon just to get my public order up. What's public order? It's 0 per turn, so that's fine. But that makes some good money. Venetia. And then we're back to Rome. There's got to be... I got more areas than that. 957, 904. Let's get some marble there. Oof. Poor Londinium. I don't even... Why did I send this guy up here again? I don't even know why I sent this guy up here. Oof. And I got religious problems. I wonder if I should just burn this place to the ground. Just raise it and call it a day. 927, and I've got a gold mine there. That's not a bad idea. 10% wealth. From commercial buildings. So that's gonna be the form, I think. And then trade jetties. I wouldn't mind some trade jetties. But how much food do you have? You have 104 food, so that shouldn't be too big of a deal. That shouldn't bad at all. Alright, let's see. 1471 for Carthago. No, oh, and you need something. Something's just bothering the crap out of you guys. Let's see. -8 for events. Why are you unhappy? What happened that made you so unhappy? 1162, and you're still negative. Disease. Oh, that's right, disease. So let's do that, man. My next turn is just going to be getting waterworks up just so I can make people happier. 742, 1487. That already has a commander person thing. Yeah, there's no way I'm taxing you. Oh, hold on. What was the money I got off that? Yeah, it's not worth it. But you have some food there. And yeah, basically my next turn is just going to be waterworks. Oof, 11,000. Alright, let's see here. Right, crap. I didn't do that again. Jeez, if I remember, if I could just keep it in my head, what it is that I'm supposed to be doing here. 1236. 1226. We're back here. I think I should probably put somebody in Rome. That, to me, that makes the most sense. And hope to God he doesn't turn on me. Oh, it is Italia, so yeah, Italia. Italia. There you go. And then we are going to see if we can let's go on food production. We want decreases immigration. What's immigration like for you guys? You don't really care though, because y'all are happy as can be. Corruption. I just need more money right now. So that was 4 times in the span of just a few days where I almost died. and a few times where it got really serious. Now, of course, when I got home, my dad asked me where I got the welt on the side of my head from, and I told him I don't know, because I did not want anybody getting in trouble over something stupid. And let's be real, like, you know, my dad would have kicked my dad would have been very, very unhappy with the events that led to you know, my getting hurt. But not that there would have been anything to be done about it. But you know, dads are protective. You know, as they should be. But I didn't want anybody getting into trouble, so I told him I don't know how I got it. I must have just bumped something really good, and it wasn't as bad as it seemed, even though it knocked my butt out. I think I told him like 6 years later what actually happened, and he was like, "God dang it." So later that year, my stepmom has this brilliant idea that we should take a family vacation to the desert. Now, I don't know if anybody's been to the desert, like actually been to the desert, where there's just nothing but sand and dry rock, and that's it. Because oh my god, that was the worst vacation I've ever been on. I don't know why I just quick saved. I'm not going to load it. That was by far the single... This is probably... No, this is the worst vacation I've ever been on at this point. Now, I've only been on like 2, like quote-unquote vacations. But this, along with one other vacation, has turned me off of going anywhere for a vacation. And you can't convince me otherwise. I freaking hated this vacation. So... what it was is we were literally going to be just parading around the desert. And when I say we, I mean me and the rest of the children. That's it. The adults stayed in an air-conditioned RV where our butts walked around the blistering hot desert in the middle of summer without any water except for like one water bottle that we would get, which was blistering hot as well, because of course it is. I can't describe to you how disgustingly horrible this vacation was. But it would be one thing if like we would go to a location, and actually, we actually did go to a location. Oh jeez, don't freeze. We actually did go to a location, and each location was the same as the last. Big sand dunes, nowhere to go. And so one day, this insane woman, who I'm very grateful is no longer a member of my family, decides, I've got an idea. It'll help build character for the kids. What we'll do is we will give them a map, and we will basically drive to another location, and the kids will walk. That'll let them see the sights of the desert and give them an opportunity to grow. Now, I don't know about the rest of you or anybody that watches this. Leaving children in the desert with not even any sunblock, but no water, no food, and by the way, I'm not like an idiot when it comes down to reading maps, but it's not like my life ever depended upon it. You know what I'm saying? And this woman just literally just straight up handed us each a bottle of water and said she would see us at sundown. At sundown. It is like 7:30 in the morning. And they drive, and I will never, I have yet to let my dad live this down. Because I was like, what were you thinking? And he's like, I don't know. I just wanted her to leave me alone. And I was like, you're a bad dad. He's like, I was, at that moment, I was a bad dad. And they just drive. They just drove off. Just drove off. And I think the best part was, when, as we were walking in the desert, we got lost. Because, of course you do. A bunch of children wandering in the desert got lost. With a map, because again, when you're walking in the desert, you really don't have many markers. The only reason we actually got saved at any point in time is because at one point, what we thought was a mirage was actually the road. And so we followed the road all the way around to this location that they were going to. But holy crap, talk about a bad parent. An ambush. But by the end of it, we had, of course, lost our water bottles. Her children are basically just acting like this is par for the course for her, which just solidified my belief that that woman was absolutely out of her goddamn mind. And as much as they would say, no, she's fine. I said, no, your mother's insane. And by the way, when I told my dad, I was like, what part of this isn't child abuse, man? Like, I really don't care 9 times out of 10, but holy crap, man. Like, you can't be sitting here just sending kids out in the desert. She then decides that was so much fun. Maybe we'll do it again tomorrow. And look, if you watch my channel, you know I really don't like to curse that much, and I didn't back then either. It was way less common for me to curse back then. But I told that woman she could just walk off a cliff. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I remember she was mortified when I said it, because I was just like, you can just literally go F yourself, and I'm not leaving this freaking trailer again. Well, of course I left the trailer eventually, but as we are driving around the desert and looking at nothing for a week and a half, we finally come across this giant old sand dune. And I'm sunburnt to hell and back, you know, like I'm now a lobster. I'm not a person anymore, I am a lobster. And as I'm lobsterifying and truly turning into, or I am now evolving into my final form, oh crap. But as I am evolving into my final form of Lobsterman, they decide we want to go look at this giant sand dune, and of course they don't supply us, or sorry, my loving stepmother does not supply us with any water. She supplied her children with water, but not me or my sister. And so we are sitting there in this blistering hot sun all day, just at this sand dune. I have no idea what we were supposed to be doing at this sand dune. I have no idea why we stopped here. I don't even know why we were actually here. I can't even tell you where we were on them. To this day, I can't even tell you where we were. Ooh, freezing. Stop it. Stop freezing. Stop it. Stop it, get game. Stop it. But yeah, I couldn't tell you why we were even in the desert, or why this was a good idea to have a loving family vacation in the desert. But to each their own. To each his own. Oh, that's not the right set of soldiers. I don't want them. I want these guys. I want committed tenseis. But okay, we go to this little desert thing, and why is no one attacking me? Like, nothing's happening. As we get to this thing, I am now burning up. I have no water. My mouth is dry as it's dry. I feel like I'm dying again. It's probably well over 120 degrees outside. At least if not, it's really close to it. And they're just, of course, she's over there having a bottle of water, and my dad actually learned his lesson. Is like, if y'all aren't getting water, I'm not getting water. So instead of, remedying the situation and getting water, my dad decides to just go without, like the rest of us. And I appreciate it. I do. And I love the man, and we're on good terms. We're good. Love my dad. But I was like, Dad, why don't you just go get us water? And the nearest station that had water was like a 30-mile drive. 30 miles to get water. Ugh. Anyway. And so, fine. No big deal. He goes without water. We go without water. Meanwhile, she's downing bottles of water like crazy because she's thirsty. And because we're, stupid children, we don't get water. Of course, her children got water, but we didn't. Needless to say, this was the beginning of a very eye-opening scenario with my father and his soon-to-be ex-wife. But as this went on, now let's get you guys up here. We end up starting to, because again, we don't have shade, we don't have anything, so we decide, okay, we are going to find a way to get shade. So we're having to start digging our way into the sand dune to get shade. We dig so far in, we actually, I think, hit maybe, well, by my estimations, we hit probably around the middle of the inside of the sand dune, and there's actually water in there that we would use to kind of cool ourselves off. And we just literally laid in there for like 6 hours, just staring at sand, because we're like, we don't want to go out there. And at one point, she was like, she actually looked up and realized that she couldn't find us and said, and I heard her calling, "Hey, where are you guys?" Like, not even loudly, not even any concern, just like "Oh, hey, I haven't seen you guys in a few minutes. Where'd you go?" As if she cared. I hate this woman to this day. It's so freaking annoying to even think of this woman at any point in time had a say in anything that I did. This is also the same woman that also preferred to feed her dog over me. Like, that's another story for another time, but that's a true story. She literally had just enough food to feed me and the dog, so she decided to hand it to the dog. Oof. This woman was special. Like, yeah. Are you in your formation? Yeah, you're good. So, jeez, I lost a lot of guys over there. So it's starting to get late, and she realizes it's starting to get late, and I'm we're all burnt to crisps. except her, her kids have had, had the chance to get an umbrella, and they were allowed to go inside the RV, but not me or my sister. Again, you just start to see a pattern after a while, which was a fantastic pattern, Jeez.
Our walls are under attack. Enemy units have returned to the battle.
Okay, hold on. Come here. Can you? Thank you. There we go. And let's move you guys over here. Jeez. I do not know if I'm going to be able to survive this now. I thought this was going to be a pretty open and shut case, but I don't know now. She then decides that, oh, what'd be great is if we went through a walk through the desert at night. Again, I'm fairly certain this woman had some kind of like just fetish for like just hurting people based on her overall track record. She just liked to watch people suffer. Because of course me and my sister are suffering horribly. I think when we got back home, we had each lost like 10 pounds, which was insane. Or that was. It is insane to lose that much weight over the course of like 3 weeks. We had lost so much weight because we didn't get a lot of food, we didn't get a lot of water, and we were walking through the desert, and so we were just decimated by this. So much so that our friends were like, did you have like, or did you get really sick? Like, what happened? And we had a hard time describing this that would not get our family in a lot of trouble, because we didn't want our dad getting in trouble for something stupid that he didn't cause per se, although he may have enabled it, but he didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? And oh god dang it! Oh man, don't tell me I'm gonna actually lose this place. I don't want to lose it. Like, it's gonna be depressing if I lose this spot. Anyway, so then she decides what would be a lot of fun is going to a hot spring. A hot spring. A hot spring. Now, I don't know if any of you have had a massive sunburn before, but taking a hot shower with a sunburn is probably one of the most painful things you can do to a sunburn. Now, it's actually very good for it because it actually helps, of course they are. It actually helps the sunburn heal a little bit. I learned that day, as well as the hot spring. But, really, not that many people here are sunburned, like, aside from me and my sister. But I have it the worst. And it astounded me that everybody was like, I don't understand why you don't want to get in the hot spring. The hot spring that had one, we're in the desert, so there's this I don't know where we found the hot spring. I think we actually drove, because we were driving through the state, so actually we found one right outside the state. And we just got on the hot spring. Finally I got into it, and thank God I did, because that would have been a miserable 3 or 4 day drive home. But when I got in, oh my gosh, my freaking skin was screaming at me that I was an idiot. No, don't run. Oh, whoa. Oh, damn. Wow. Jeez. Alright, I did not think I was going to lose that fight. That's unfortunate. Then, the next trip we went on to, which was, as soon as we got home, they wanted to go on another little vacation because she was incapable of just sitting still and just enjoying time off. She couldn't do it. She physically was unable to do so. And so she decided that we needed to go on a camping trip. So a week later, we were back in the car, driving into the forest. And of course, because of the way that she is, could we go to, I don't know, let's say who's this? That's fine, who cares? I'm at war with everybody else. What's one more person? Or one more group? Could we go to a normal camping trip, like maybe like an RV park? No. We had to go to the real forest to get the real camping experience. And whenever we say the real camping experience, we mean that she got to sit in the RV, we got to sleep outside in the rain and the dirt, and the grime and all the animals. Now, I've been hunting a few times. I know, shocking. And I'm actually not too uncomfortable sleeping outside with animals. However, I am uncomfortable sleeping outside when I am in the middle of the forest. You know, like, it's one thing to sleep on some kind of camping grounds and then like drive to hunting grounds, or driving on your property where you kind of have an understanding of what animals are out there. It's a whole other ball game when you're in the middle of a forest, you don't know what's out here, and you have no idea what kind of animals are out here. But you can tell it's probably not good because it took a long time to get out there, and you had to abandon your car like a good 4 or 5 miles away. I did, oh. And where we were, it was not uncommon for bears to be in this forest. Now, how would I know that? There are no signs. This is no park. However, I'm not an idiot. And I do know a thing or two about where we were going. And I did a little bit of due diligence to find out what we were doing and where we were going and all that fun stuff. And I had to do some research. And after my research, I said, y'all are all insane. But again, I couldn't stay home because reasons. Because, you know, my horrible video game mentality might have me playing the Nintendo all day long, because and eating Cheerios and, you know, breakfast cereals all day long, because that would have been detrimental to my health. And God forbid I do something detrimental to my health, like, I don't know, eating Cheerios instead of going out into the middle of the freaking forest, right? And so let's see here. Let's move you guys up here. Let's see. I think they're probably going to attack over here too. They usually try to attack over here. And so this woman is hellbent on us staying out in the rainy, cold, dark forest. And by the way, we don't have any lights either. So we literally have to set up camp. It's fading light. And again, I've never set up a camp light, or I've never set up a tent the one that they had, which was a 3 compartment tent. And of course, as we start setting up the tent, she is now very, very unhappy with the accommodations of the great outdoors. Why wouldn't you? Of course, the woman that needed to be out and about all the time couldn't handle the great outdoors. That would be too hard. So she decides that she wants to sleep in the big tent where me and mine have decided to set up shop. And so where we set up our tent was smart. We set it up on high ground and away from, you know, let's say, mushy ground. So we tried to find some relatively stable ground that was dry and firm, where for some stupid freaking reason, the people that were always out and about, that were constantly on camping trip and suicide missions, they for some reason found the mushiest, wettest ground and put their tent down. Now, this alone by itself isn't that big of a deal as long as it doesn't rain. There are 3 guesses to tell you what happened that night. So it begins to pour down rain. Now, again, like a good little Boy Scout, I was feeling pretty happy with myself. I even looked at my dad and said, I feel pretty good about where we put our tent. Because, hey, we are dry, we are warm, you know, we're good. Like, we're happy as can be. There's nothing going on that's going to stop us from staying dry, and we're good. And the best part is we were uphill from that horrible witch. But of course, for some reason, I think we split the tents up into guys and girls, so I guess my sister was with them. So halfway through not even halfway through the night, like 10 minutes after the rainstorm starts, their tent starts to flood. Of course it does. And they become, like, all the women on her side of the family are getting very belligerent and angry, saying that we set them up to sleep in the tent and that we tried to kill them by drowning them. And it had never occurred to me, but my first response was, as someone who's almost drowned before, there are worse ways to go, I'm assuming. It was not very comforting. And nobody else laughed, but I thought it was rather funny. And so she decides that we no longer have a right to the tent that we set up, that we bought, or anything like that. We have to go stay in their tent, which, by the way, is literally like ankle deep in water, and that we would not be allowed to sleep in the women's tent. And of course, I don't have a say in this. My dad does, and my dad, of course, immediately capitulates because his wife is telling him to get out of the tent and basically to make her happy. I'm so glad that phase that he went through to make her happy ended very quickly after this. So I then look at my dad and I say, abso-freaking-lutely not. I am not going to. They are free to stay with us, but I'm not going to go sleep in the water. I ended up sleeping in the water. Well, sleeping is not really the word I would use. I ended up just lying in water all night, soaking wet and freezing, cursing the fact that this woman ever came into our lives. Hoping beyond hope that somehow lightning would strike and burn my tent, or the tent that I had set up for me, to the ground. Because I was being a little bit of a sadistic little a-hole. And as luck would have it, of course, nothing happened. She was fine. And they got out, and they would start speaking about how good of a night's sleep they had in my sleeping bag. Or I say, well, she had my sleeping bag. So she would start telling me, how good it was to sleep in my sleeping bag, how comfortable it was, how her sleeping bag was not nearly as good as mine. And that was what that was. And, of course, I'm having to sit there and just kind of take this as I am furious and soaking wet and freezing. I then develop a cold, because of course you do. Because the story just gets better and better. And so that night, or that day, I decide to then pick up, or not pick up, I guess, those little cleats you can't remember. I had to pry those up, tear the tent down, move it someplace else. I found a little clearing that was kind of dry, but you know, again, once it rains, there's really not really a place you can go that's going to be dry. So I was kind of just winging it, and I found a little clearing. It was a pretty good one. I was happy with it, and of course that meant that, you know, because I found it and it was okay, that there was a problem. I was too far away from camp. That was dangerous now. I could, you know, there was something could come get me. And of course my first response was like, she would care if I went missing, but okay. So, oh God. Well, at least I'm not breaking. So I then find this little clearing. I set up my tent. Water's been drained out of it. You know, I let the doors open to air it out. I took my towel that was really not meant for this at all, and I used my wash towel, and I basically just dried out my tent. Say my tent, our tent. And I start setting it up. I start, you know, putting the overhang on it so that if there's any rain coming down again tonight, it would not fall directly on the tent. That way there's no water coming in. Oh, crud. And I'm starting to get happy. But of course, as soon as I get it set up, like I said, she immediately starts having a conniption fit about how I'm too far away from the main camp. I'm within you can see me, and if you wanted to throw a baseball at me, you'd have hit my tent. Like, it wasn't that far away from camp. But I mean, I guess she wasn't too wrong. Like, I wasn't around the little circle they had set up, or the little, like, well, what they considered to be a circle. What it really was just a bunch of little tents in a semicircle that were at different elevations. And I don't know why on earth I let this woman have this, but I then took my tent down and I said, there's nowhere for me to go unless it's back down there. She's like, well, if that's the only place that you can find for your tent, then I guess that's where you're going to have to stay. And I said, that literally means I'm going to be sleeping in water, freezing cold water, 4 days on end. And she goes, well, maybe you should have thought of that before we made camp here. I am so close to smacking this woman in the mouth. Like, it's I'm having to almost physically restrain my hand from slapping this woman across the face. But I managed to, refrain from beating this woman with her own shoes. Oh, crud, come on. I need my Equites to break these little buggers. So I then move my tent back. I'm trying my best to find some place that everybody can be happy with, because, again, I'm still not old enough to sleep on my own. So I then decide, screw it, I'm going to go back to my little space while everybody's cooking dinner, and I'm going to just set up my little camping ground. Now, I did move it as close as I could to the main camp, so everybody, that way people can say I'm still closer than where I was, so instead of the clearing, I was like on the pathway to the clearing. It wasn't really great, but that's where I stayed. And of course, because this woman's a complete and utter moron who has no idea how to, for some reason, for someone who always camped and was constantly in the outdoors, this woman was the dumbest person I've ever met. And I'm not the kind of person that would know that much about the great outdoors. But holy crap, at least I know, don't go camping in a wild area unless you know what you're doing. This woman had no idea what she was doing. Because that night we were visited by animals. And not just like, the little fuzzy, furry creature kind, like the big, snarling bleh kind. The ones that basically, if you left your tent, they might maul you kind. But that didn't matter. So that night, we are visited by a bear. And of course, I learned a very valuable lesson that night, which was whenever you're camping in the wild, make sure you hang up your important stuff outside of your tent, like food, on a tree. Because that night we lost the majority of our food, except for I think a few cans of something. To which I was not allowed to have any because that would be inappropriate. The women needed the food more than the men, and the men could go hunt. As if we were actually, one, as if we brought utensils to hunt. Two, as if we were going to, hunt, gut, and skin a deer in the middle of the forest on a camping trip with family. Yeah, that was going to happen. Let me tell you the odds of that happening in front of this woman, and that those odds were 0. So she got to have canned goods and whatnot, whereas we basically had to just eat freeze-dried beef jerky for whatever was left over from the little emergency rations that we had. And we survived off this for 4 days because she was having so much fun. And I was and that's where I looked at my dad and I was I think she enjoys this. I straight up think that she actually enjoys watching us miserable. I don't understand why she does this, because her kids get to eat, but we don't. Just again, the only reason I'm even remembering all of this, is because somebody brought it to my attention today and just walked through the whole story, and I was like, oh my god, I'm now remembering all of this. I was mortified. I'm if I was even 4 years older than what I was then, I would have just hauled off and smacked her and be leave us alone. Don't, stop trying to kill us. If you don't want us around that badly, just tell us and we'll never come around here again. And she actually didn't understand why we didn't like her at all. And I was like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. It really doesn't. But whatever. So at the end of this trip, I am extremely hungry, extremely tired, and I'm miserable, and now I'm sick. Huzzah. Now, I say that I almost died on that one because a bear came up to our tents and whatnot looking for food. At least I didn't have food in my tent, and I think we were all lucky that we didn't, but that guy was sniffing around looking for it. And he was walking up next to the tents and whatnot. Jeez, I was terrified. Needless to say, I moved my tent back towards the main camp, like a lot closer, like right next to their tent the following day. But aside from that, nothing really happened. Aside from I was cold and hungry for what, 3 more days, 2 more days. Oh, but man, I think my hunger was counteracted by my hatred. I was beginning from going from disliking this woman to hating this woman, and it doesn't get better after this. Because I'm pretty sure this woman was trying to kill us all. I'm now 90% certain this woman was actually actively trying to kill us, but trying to give herself a way out to where like she could say, "I didn't do it. It wasn't me that killed them. It was nature that killed them." So later on, this now we're getting into the end of this summer, and now we're getting into fall, and finally, I've never been so happy in my life to go back to school. I had never been so happy in my life to go back to my crummy public school. And when I got back, I was so happy I couldn't stop smiling for days on end because I was guaranteed that I would not be heading off to some crazy effing adventure with this stupid woman who was just either too dumb or just too hateful to care about anybody other than herself. So of course, when winter break comes around, we're stuck at home for 2-3 weeks. Actually, no, it was 2-3 weeks. And my immediate response was, "Oh, thank God! We're gonna be at home still because we can't just leave. Like I got other family I got to see during Christmas, so the trips aren't gonna happen. They're just not happening." No, no. She calls up all of our family and says she wants to take us skiing. Now, I've never been skiing before, and under normal circumstances, I would totally be on board with going skiing, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to go skiing? I had never been skiing, but hell, I'd rarely even seen snow that you could, pick up, Like, making a snowman was like, oh, that's cool. That's got to be so much fun. I had never done it before. This is going to be so much fun. So we decided to go skiing. Well, her family's been skiing 1,000 times, but mine not so much. And of course, it's just me and my dad and my sister and all of her family, which again has been skiing since they were like 3. And of course, they're not willing to help us because why the hell would you do that? And when we get there, again, I have no idea how to ski yet. They decide to have a little fun with me, and they put me on a really steep hill, and they don't tell me anything. They just say all you have to do is just go down. And I said, okay, let's just try going down. It's like it's a lot like rollerblading. I was like, oh, I love rollerblading, so this shouldn't be too hard. I didn't really think this through all the way because if I done so, I probably would have been like, hold on, time out. Because I know how to stop on rollerblades. They got little stoppers on the back, and if you don't do that, you can kind of slalom a little bit and kind of just turn, and that's it. But whenever you're going fast enough, you can't, and you're going downhill, you can't just do that so easily. Oh, jeez. So I am having to kind of learn this lesson after the fact. Here it comes, Octodron. It's gonna fall. Oh, why are you dying already? Don't die. Oh, ooh, hello. Aryans are crossing our territory in a holy site. Ignore them, ban them, allow them passage. Allow them passage. I'm not going to try and fight these guys. Do I have anybody free? Yes, I do. Landowner. Let's move these guys to Mediolanum. Alright, so this turn I need to start building these little waterworks. Not there. Not there. No. Well, here would be nice too, but no. Where was it? It was way down here. Already got that one built, so that's fine. It's this one. Then I needed one, I think, over here. I already got that one. There was another one. Where was it? Where was it? I know I needed to build like one more someplace else. Is this one? Yeah, that's this one. Oof, I need to build Oh, anyway, my first night at in my first night skiing, night. We were skiing at night with no lights except for the lights at the little timeshares or whatever that we had, or whatever they were called, the little apartment complex things that we had. And so we spend our night. Spend our night. We set our night up and we decided to go skiing. Now, of course, I'm excited because hey, skiing! I've never done this before, and how bad could it possibly be? Uh, so we right across from us during I guess the spring season is kind of like a cow pasture, but the pasture's on a really steep slope, and so there's these old barbed wire fences that covered it. Now, of course, those barbed wire fences have been knocked down and destroyed, so that's not really an issue. So we walked right by them, not a big deal. What I and nobody else thought of was that hey, there's barbed wire fencing right here. What makes you think there's not anywhere else? We were very smart people at the time. We knew everything. So we started the top of it, and by the end of it, I'm having a good time up until I have crashed and wrapped myself in barbed wire. My first night there, because of course I did. Now, that wasn't too bad. I tore up my brand new like snow jacket and my snow pants, but other than that, I'm doing okay. I'm a little disappointed at that, but no big deal. So afterwards, my stepbrother is tasked with teaching me a thing or two about skiing. Now, he then decides to just use his mom's credit card. Oh, jeez, I need to build another army. Crap. And I need to build something here to counteract. I need to upgrade one of these. Well, I can just get a priest in there. Jeez, how far back am I behind? Jeez. Hey, what's up, Grim? I am actually going through and telling a story of the year that almost killed me on multiple occasions. And I've been talking for like what, an hour and a half. Yeah, so like this story is really really long, and the only reason that I even remember this story, the only reason I remember this story, is because somebody, my sister was telling this story the other day, and I had blocked it out of my memory, and as she was telling this story of like the most horrible year of our childhood, just like event after event after event after event, mixed in with some other stuff here and there, it was just flooding back into my memory like over and over and over and over. I was like, oh my god, and I'm like reliving this, just like, oh my god, I thought I forgot about all this. It was like a year of my life was just forgotten up until she mentioned it, and I'm on like the last story for it. So but this is where we were learning to ski for the first time. I've never been skiing since. I would love to go back and learn to ski, but my lovely stepbrother, he was tasked with teaching me to ski, and instead of doing his job and teaching me to ski and teaching me the basics, he stole his mom's credit card and then dumped me into a kiddie course like for children. Now I was not like I wasn't a kid anymore, but I wasn't like, I was way older than all these kids. But he dumped me in like this is how you put on your skis. This is how you get on the snow. It's like these are basics that, a child would have to learn because they're children and they don't really know any better and they don't know how to keep their balance if they've never done this before. I've at least skateboarded and rollerbladed a couple times. It wasn't that hard for me to figure out how to do this. But he just said, here, these people will teach you how to ski. And just left. Didn't care. Didn't ask if I got food. Didn't care what time to pick me up. And I was just like, okay, all right. And so for 2 days I spent there until finally I had had enough, and I said, dude, you're not dropping me off here again. This is for children, and I'm not doing this. And he's like, well, they'll teach you how to ski, man. I was like, yes, go F yourself. And like I just said earlier, it's really rare that I actually curse. I don't like to curse that much, but whenever I'm doing it, it means that you have royally pissed me off to a level that is just like, I've had it. I think even giving him 2 days was way too much time. But let's see, you're a general. So let's reset this. You're a general, and let's do that. Okay. Definitely replenishment. Definitely replenishment. All right, so I don't know if you've ever skied before. Why are we under assault? What's going on? Why are we not gaining people back? Oh, these people. Or it's either these or these. I don't know. And so, how did you lose stuff? Did we lose people? I guess we were under attack and somebody... Well, how'd they win? I don't know. Anyway, so he then says, okay, fine, we all went to either. I'll teach you on one of these little slopes. Now, he's been skiing most of his life. He's been going skiing with his dad and his mom all the darn time. I have never skied before in my life. And so this paragon of brotherly affection and love said, I'm going to take you down this hill. And I said, okay, cool. Well, the hill, as I saw it when I looked at the map, there's like black diamonds, meaning the most difficult, and there was like a green something, and it was like kind of a beginner course. But the thing that he did was that he took me down, the green slope fed into the diamond. And what he did was that he did not tell me anything. He just said, just follow me. And I said, okay. So I did. So what he did is that he got to the top of the hill and he immediately just bolted down as fast as he could and turned onto the black diamond. He left me alone. And so, of course, I'm trying to keep up, and I turn on the diamond with him. And I think maybe I've told a version of the story, but it wasn't until my sister was telling, like, different version, like the actual version that she witnessed, that, like, it all came flooding back to me, because I was like, oh my god, I forgot, that's right, this was on purpose. And he intentionally led me down the black diamond in order to have me get hurt, so that I would leave him alone, so that I would just stay in the little condo thing that we had. And at least I know where he got his dickish nature from, was from his mother. But holy crap, man, like, I mean, he literally was trying to actually physically harm me, like, in a way that was serious, so that I would have to not be skiing with him anymore, so he could get away with just not skiing with me. And so, as I'm going down this, it's, you know, the snow is really bad. I can't really see anything. Let's move these guys out here. And then, as I'm skiing down this hill, of course, I'm hitting everything. And I'm hitting things going very fast. I'm trying to keep up with him, which is all by itself a stupid decision, but I don't know any better. I've never skied before. And I'm hitting almost every tree. I'm crashing into every little bushel thing that's there. I'm hitting rocks. I'm almost literally flying over the edge of certain things. It's bad. And finally, when I get to the end, he's waiting at the bottom of the hill, just waiting. And he's got this scowl on his face of just, when he sees me come down, he is actually extremely unhappy that he sees me come down. I can see it on his face as I'm coming down the mountain. But as I'm coming down the mountain, I'm going so fast. I've got, I think my dad recorded it, of just these giant puff balls of snow coming up behind me, because I don't know how to stop. I don't know how to slow down. I am just flying down the mountain as fast as I can, because I'm trying to keep up with my idiot stepbrother who wants me dead. Again, like father, or sorry, like mother, like son, I guess. I don't know. And let's get this to heavy shot. Ooh, no, not heavy shot. Maybe fire shot. So he then looks very disappointed in seeing me not dead and not broken. So he then decides that he's just going to straight up just not work with me anymore for skiing. Dude, like, watch the whole thing later. Like, I've been telling this story, like, all the different times that him and his mother have essentially just tried to kill me and my sister, more like at least more than one occasion. I'm fairly certain that family was just so self-absorbed and narcissistic that they truly either A, didn't understand what it meant to be compassionate towards other people, or didn't care and just wanted to see people suffer. I mean, if you want to hear the whole thing, you don't have to, of course. But, and who knows, maybe I'll just tell the whole thing again, but it's getting kind of late. So this will probably be one of the last fights, and this is the end of the story for the year, because, fire arrow these people. And so he decides that he's no longer going to have anything to do with me. He is just simply going to ignore what my dad asked him to do, which was to teach me how to ski. He would do none of that, and he would just leave me as soon as he got out of eye shot with his family. So again, I'm trying to keep up with him. I'm trying to do all this stuff, but again, he's older than me. He's faster than me. He's stronger than me. He just won't. He just wants nothing to do with me. And up until this point, he's never given me a reason to dislike him. But man, after this, I hated this kid's guts. I wanted this kid to suffer. Oh, I appreciate it. I know that I'm streaming later, and I really hate that, because I know that a lot of people, the 8:30 time I thought was really good. I got enough people to watch, but the 9:30 slot that I'm starting is just, I know it's late. I'm gonna try to switch it back down to 8:30. Maybe I'll tell the story later, but just personal things have gotten in the way, sad stuff. But this is more for fun. we'll do sad stories later. Already, jeez, where? Oh, the spear peoples. Oh no, I mean, well, he also stole something. He also stole a pistol from my dad, and then like bold-faced lied about it, and he sold it to like one of his friends for just like a couple $100. Like, this kid was a piece of, yeah. So as time goes on, basically what ends up happening is that we had to cut my skiing trip short, because as he was not watching me and making sure that I wasn't killing myself, he decides to go skiing down this little, like, it was actually a relatively tame hill, and because I had so many experiences with him essentially abandoning me and trying to get me hurt, I'd actually, I'm a pretty quick study, so I started actually studying him a little bit more. I got caught up, and I actually became a relatively decent skier, but when I say decent, I mean that I was, like, my form was probably terrible, and I was barely holding on for dear life, but at least I was actually able to hold my own, and only crash a few times versus crashing all the time like I was doing before. And so as this goes on, there was something that he had done. He had done this. What he did is that he shoveled a whole bunch of snow the night before, and he watered it down so he had this little ramp, because he knew that I would sometimes use the ramps to actually to kind of stop myself, because he never taught me how to really stop using skis. Had I had a snowboard, I probably would have done a lot better, because I knew how to, like, at least for the snowboard, I understood the concept of like, turning really quickly, or like kicking your leg out to stop, or at least slaloming a little bit more with control. But he wouldn't tell me, nor would he show me, because he would move so fast. But by the time that he had stopped, he was already out of eyesight. I couldn't see him. Now, because he knew this, and he thought it would be funny, he watered this down after kind of making it into a semi, like, he kind of patted the snow down to make it like a what essentially turned into a ramp. And because it was a relatively large snowbank, my first response when I saw it was, hey, it's a nice thing that I can just kind of plow into to stop if I'm going too fast, which is exactly what he wanted me to do. So what happens? That day, we are skiing down. He's actually being relatively nice to me today. He's walking with me. He's skiing with me. He's making sure that I'm keeping up. And that was when my radar started to go off. I was like, what's happening? But he starts moving really fast down this hill, and off to my side is this snowbank that was next to our little condo. And he decides he's going to just gun it as fast as he can. And of course, because I'm a stupid kid, I'm going to try to follow him. because he's not been that much of a complete and utter dick. So he then takes off. Like he now like gets into his little speed position, and he just bolts down the side of the mountain. And I try to catch him, but I can't because I'm not as good of a skier as he is. I have to, he's actually able to dodge stuff that I can't. So I decide, okay, now's a good time to just simply say, okay, let's just stop. I can just catch him down the mountain anyway. It's not that big of a deal. So I do what I normally did, which was I lean in, I do a sharp turn, and I leaned in to kind of crash forward. Well, the problem is when you lean in to a ramp, you don't go down. You just shove momentum on that upward swing. So I ended up actually just throwing my weight into my momentum and just flying through the air. This is where my skiing trip ended because I was so injured I could not get up. And he thought it was hilarious because let me finish this part. I fly through the air, not understanding what had just happened yet because I'm now very confused. I am extremely confused because the 30th time I've done this, it's worked, right? Like why would it all of a sudden just stop working? And I realize I'm heading towards a tree that is frozen. And there's a branch that's sticking right out at me. So it's like basically a giant spear. I hit this branch and I break it. Now, luckily for me, I have a padded jacket on, like a thick undershirt, and then like thermal underwear under all this. But I hear this branch crack. Like it's a loud, just shattering crack. And I can hear him laughing over the sound of my lungs. Yeah, he was a garbage human. I really hope that this man turned his life around when he became an adult. But this branch cracked, and it just shoved all the air out of me. I couldn't breathe at all. But I can hear him hysterically laughing. He thought this was the funniest thing in the world. I can't breathe. I can't talk. I can't even scream. I am in so much pain that I think I was crying. I know I think I was crying. I was crying, but it was like I couldn't like actually make any noise. Like that's how bad it was. I couldn't even get the air in. I just know that I was tearing up on the ground, gripping my sides with my skis, and his mother, the piece of work that she was, witnessed the whole thing, knows how her son's been treating me, and the last thing I hear before I black out was, "Are you okay?" I then wake up in our condo. No hospital. Condo. They took me back to the freaking condo. They didn't take me to the hospital. They didn't tell my dad. They just simply took me back to the condo and said, "Oh, he had an accident." Into which I still can't talk. I can barely get air in my lungs. I am like begging for the doctor. I'm begging for a doctor. I'm like, please. I was like, which of course I can't get the words out. I physically can't. I have a welt on my chest, and it's black and blue. And I'm like, of course at the time I'm going, oh my god, I was punctured by a freaking tree. Which I wasn't, but I was sure that I either fractured something that was very, very light, or I bruised a rib or something, because man, that was so excruciating. And so my dad gets back to the condo late that afternoon, and she's there, and her son is there, and they both look annoyed at me, like I'm the one that's the problem here. Like, how dare I ruin their vacation, their fun? And I was like, you've been dragging me halfway across the United States all year long, and I'm the a-hole for basically having what essentially could have been a life-threatening wound. And I remember bits and pieces of the conversation because I was kind of fading in and out of it. But the conversation was like, if I was so fragile, why did they even bring me on these things? And I was like, dude, I've had like this year alone, I've had like 2 concussions. I've almost drowned 4 times. I've almost dehydrated myself in the desert over you people, and you think that I'm timid and incapable of freaking surviving? Are you kidding me? It's not because y'all have been taking care of me that I've lived. It's because you just have yet to succeed at killing me. um, and of course, the way that this woman worked was that she would go on the attack whenever she knew she was in the wrong. So no matter what, and this, I don't know why this strategy worked on my dad, but it still does to this day. I don't know why, but like I get so infuriated with him for it, because as soon as someone like accuses him of something, he feels the need to defend himself, even if he knows it's not true. He'll just be like, okay, whatever. Like for me, I just go, fine, screw you. If that's what you think, F off. He can't do that. He has to play defense at that point. He has to prove that he's innocent, and I'm like, no. Like, you gotta prove that I'm guilty, man. Like, F you. But let me get a little hit of my adult drink here. But then they decide that I am too fragile to bring along to some of these trips, and how I was mistreating her son and all this other crap that she knows is not true. She knows it's a lie. She knows all this crap is a lie. She watched half of it happen, and she knows it's not true. But she doesn't care. It's all about, looking good, because it would look terrible if she almost killed her husband's son. That would look bad. It's hard to walk away from that. Luckily for us, my dad is slowly starting to catch on to the nature of this horrible, wretched, disgusting witch that he somehow got duped by. And I'll admit, he was duped by this woman very much. Like, it's one of those stories where she pretended to be one kind of person, and in reality, she was this witch this monster of a person. They then decide that it's best if I stay home. It's not good for me to be out there with this kind of an injury. And I, for once, have finally said, yes, absolutely yes. And so what does she do? Again, I can't really talk, but I, is that okay with you? I said, yes. So they leave me home by myself. I can't move. I can't really breathe. I'm lying on a couch all day, and I can't move. I can't really even get up to go to the bathroom that well. I can't go make food. Which, by the way, the only thing they left me was stuff that I had to cook. No. I don't mean like microwave. I mean, here's some it was peas, frozen peas, frozen chicken, and what else was it? And I think some like potatoes that they wanted. They're like, if you want them, you could just mash them up and like cook them yourself. I physically was incapable of moving. Now, they promised my dad they would have somebody stay with me, at least check up on me. They wouldn't like baby me. I wasn't so bad that I couldn't do anything, but everything required effort. So like they'd have somebody there to, at least check up on me, that they could go outside, they could play in the snow, whatever. Nope, they all immediately left. As soon as my dad left, they were all gone. My sister included, but my sister didn't know. But we're here for another 4 days. And of course, I'm still not able to speak very well. I still can't quite get air down. I'm starting to get better, and I'm starting to be able to get a raspy, speaking a raspy voice. But like, I can't really get much out. I'm beat to hell and back. And I'm hungry, and I'm furious. I am absolutely, utterly furious. I hate this woman with a passion. And her children were not much better. And her son comes back in. He slaps me on the chest and says, "Have fun today, bud." And I think that was when I had absolutely had it. And that's when I looked at him and I was just like, "Don't sleep. Just don't. I'll slit your throat." It's like, I will slit your throat in your sleep, you absolute garbage person. But then, like, whenever we get back, like, my dad then asked them, how's Myth been? And they look at me, and this look of this unsure look of their face, and they look back at my dad and they go, he's been quiet, he's been fine, he hasn't really needed much. And I have this look of fury on my face that even my dad is noticing at this point. He's trying his best not to rock the boat with, like, you know, because these are his, this is my stepmom's kids, and his, you know, he sees the look of fury on my face. It's just personally, it's rare that I get really angry. I mean, I know that nobody can ask friends of mine, but it's very, very rare for me to become angry. It's even more rare for me to become just absolutely, utterly livid and just furious with anyone. It's really, really hard. I mean, I'm a very forgiving person in a lot of ways. I have just thrown out any semblance of forgiveness that I'm willing to give these people, because at this point, I'm just like, this is no longer them being really just stupid. This is downright malicious. Not only do they not care, they are more than happy to actively put me and my family in harm's way if it means that they get what they want. These are like some of the scummiest pieces of crap I've ever met in my entire life, and I'm like, how did these people ever get my dad involved with them? I still don't know to this day, and even he doesn't know how they did it. He's just like, I don't know why I got involved with these people. So I'm now stuck on the couch. I'm basically eating what essentially comes down to like snack foods that I have to have my dad bring to me on the couch at the end of the day. And because again, they get to eat food outside, but I'm eating nothing but light little snacks all day for food, which, by the way, I don't have TV. I don't have a Game Boy right now because nobody will bring my freaking Game Boy to me, and nobody's bothering to bring me any kind of entertainment. So I'm just sitting here at this freaking couch with nothing for 3 days, and no one's talking to me, no one's working with me, and the only people that are asking me how I'm doing is my dad. That's it. And of course, because, you know, I can't really talk, it's just me wheezing. On the ride home, there was enough room for me to lie down in the back seat. There was enough room. Oh, but wouldn't you know it that one of her kids has a tummy ache and needs to lie down. The poor thing. That poor thing. It needed to lie down. So, in the farthest back seat of this lovely little what was it? It was was it Chevy? It's like a Chevy, not a Subaru. What is it called? It's like a man. I will never forget what it looks like, but I can't remember the darn name of it. But it's basically this. It's got 3 sets of seats: 2 in the front, 2 in the middle, and 3 in the back. And we took 2 sets of cars to get there, like, so we could load all the luggage. But we made room originally for me, but wouldn't you know it, someone got a tum-tum ache. So instead of saying, hey, Austin's actually wounded, and if you look at his chest, he's got a black and blue and purpley spot on his chest, they decide, no. You need to sit up now with the seatbelt strapped to you while our baby, while the baby, who is my age, who's got a little tum-tum ache, she gets to lay down in the back seat. By the way, it's a 3-day drive. And every day she's got a tummy ache. Because, and of course while she's back there, what is she doing? She's just playing on her little, what did she have? She had a Game Boy, or she was reading. She was just lying down reading, having a fine old time. No problem. None at all. Not even sick. And as soon as I bring it up, I'm being mean. I'm being rude. Yeah, this is one of those moments where I'm just like, I hope these people have a special place in hell. Like, I rarely hate people, but holy crap, these people are just garbage people. And, of course, my dad's in the other car, and he doesn't know but his car won't accommodate me, plus all the extra luggage they had to load onto it because somebody had a tummy ache. So I have to sit in their car, and I'm wheezing for 2 days. Also, here's the next best part. It's just this story gets better. It just gets better. It just keeps going, and it's like it's like the Energizer Bunny that just won't stop. Because I'm not even done yet. This is the drive home is just as bad. The drive home is not a straight drive home. They want to see the countryside. Meanwhile, they've seen the countryside 1,000 times, and I'm still injured. Now, granted, I'm it's been 4 or 5 days. I'm actually getting better, and it's not as bad as I originally thought, but it still hurts a lot. And so at one point, they decide they want to go up a mountain, right? They want to drive up a mountain. Well, it's icy. It's been raining, so all that lovely snow has now turned into mostly ice, and all the little rocks that we run across, I feel every single one of them. So instead of being on a relatively stable highway, they decide, no, we're going to take the rocky way. Over my wheezing, pleading of, can we please just go home? Like, I'm again crying. No, that can't be allowed. My sister is begging them to let us just go home. No, can't have that. Because we don't want to waste the family vacation, because we're making good memories. That was the actual excuse. We don't want to waste the good family memories by just going home. To this day, for vacations, because of this woman, it takes effort to get me to want to leave the house. Like, if I'm on vacation, my first response is, I'm staying indoors. I realize that not every vacation is going to be this way, and I actually would love to go on a hunting trip or whatever, but it's like every time I go on a hunting trip, I just get this nasty taste in my mouth. Like, if I'm going to be leaving the house for a little while, I just get this nasty, gnarly, like this rancid taste in my mouth, and I'm just like, I know where this is from. At least now I do, because before I didn't understand why do I really all of a sudden don't want to go anywhere. Up until my sister was retelling all like the year that nearly killed me, and I truly mean nearly killed me on multiple occasions. So we get to the top of this mountain, and they all want to walk around because actually, and it was really cool. I will admit this. It was a long time ago. There was this mountain, and this mountain was the remnants of a volcano. So you could actually walk into like the whatever that thing is called, like the dip in the volcano. So there's this little walkway where there was like some trees that had grown inside of it. It was, I will admit, it was pretty cool, but I was still in massive amounts of pain. And of course, because they weren't in the car, we weren't allowed to stay in the car, because there's a logic to this that I have yet to figure out, but I'm sure it exists, but I haven't figured it out yet. Where's my horsies? So we get out, we have to walk around, and we have to walk down the mountain. So we have to walk down to the very bottom of this little volcano thing. And I'm sitting there just I'm still in a lot of pain, but I'm like not nearly as much as I thought I was. Like I guess maybe because I had just become numb to it because I'd been in the car and the car was just bucking around like a freaking Bronco. Or I guess I was healing. I couldn't really tell you which. But I managed to make it down the mountain in my little, like, not even snowshoes, my tennis shoes, because I didn't have snowshoes because we weren't going climbing, we were going skiing. And we get down the mountain, we get to the middle, all to take a picture, and of course I'm the last one there, and of course they can't get mad at me, but they would take little jabs like, why did it take you so long to get here? Like, you know, and of course the smile of the, are you okay? You know, like that smile that you know when someone's being a dick to you, you know, like whenever they shove you to the ground and they go, oh, I'm sorry, did you fall? You know, it's like, are you okay? And I I looked at her dead in the eye, and I just said, I couldn't be better. And my dad's just like, and again, my dad's looking at me, and he's looking at her, and he knows that like I am furious to beyond belief, but I won't let her have the satisfaction of seeing me angry. Like, he knows it, and I know it, and she knows it, and he knows that I'm just not giving her the satisfaction, because man, do I hate this woman. To this day, I hate this woman. Like, I hate very few people. That woman can burn. And to take it a step further, she then goes, oh, that's great. So then you won't mind taking the picture. So after climbing down the mountain, I didn't even get a chance to be a part of the family picture that they all wanted to be a part of. And I said, of course I would not. Of course I would love to take the picture. So there's a picture of my sister, my dad, and all of her kids in a volcano. And I was the one taking the picture. By the way, there were other people there besides us. They could have asked somebody else to take it, but no, they asked me, because F me. And my dad was like, do you really want to, like, don't you want to be in the picture? I want you to be in the picture. And I said, no, Dad. I would love to take the picture. It would be my pleasure. Which, of course, when I'm saying this, well, that means that I'm lying through my freaking teeth. And, of course, because I'm not going to let him have... actually, we were in that area. Yeah, we were in that area. The only problem is that I was too young to really... I know generally where we were going, so we were skiing actually in Colorado, but I don't remember exactly where we were on every step of the trip. So I know we went through Arizona for the desert trip, and then we went to Colorado for the skiing trip, and then we may have been in New Mexico for the ending of the trip. I don't remember. It was so long ago, and even then I wasn't really privy to how we went home. I just know the stops we made along the way. So as we're finishing, yeah, well, I mean, I genuinely don't know where the actual thing was. I don't know. Like, I wish I could remember, but I just don't remember. It's been one. It was a long time ago. Two, I don't remember. Like, I don't even think I had access to the. I don't even think I had access to where we were going, or nobody even told me, because I was, again, trying to sleep off as much of it as I could, or sleep off the pain as much as I could, and of course it wasn't really, it was kind of working a little bit, but it really soured any kind of vacationing idea, but afterwards, she of course thanked me along with her son. Her daughters actually didn't hate me, but like I think her son hated me, and she definitely did not like me, and she tried her damnedest to get me to never ever be around them or my dad. She was one of those really like those hardcore control freaks that needed like my dad's undivided love and attention, which like I don't know why this is hard for her to imagine, but for some reason like the idea that that's not going to work on a dad with his son is just it's anathema to me. Why she thought that she could compete, because afterwards my dad is also very forgiving. I just became much less forgiving after this. I'm still very forgiving, but my dad is he was so forgiving where he was like, well, maybe it wasn't that bad, and I was like, no, Dad, it was really bad. I think if this ever comes up again, like I know my dad's just gonna be really sad about it, because he let this woman blind him so much. It's really sad. And not that I'm looking for sympathy, just somebody, my sister told me this story, and I just remembered it, and I was like, oh my god, it's like I literally I've always heard of people blocking bad stuff out, but I would always think like really traumatic things. And I guess even now, I don't really consider those moments to be traumatic. They were just really, really unhappy and just made me really, really angry. But never, like, was what I consider to be trauma. Because nothing that I could really point to would be like, oh, yeah, no, I'm this way because of X, Y, or Z. Or, no, I have a predilection against X or Y. Like, I've no problem hunting. I've got no problem going into the desert. I've got no problem traveling. It's just not my first. This is not my first choice. So we made one more stop, and after that, after we got the picture, I had to walk all the way back up, and of course they just left me. I had to kind of like drag my sorry butt back up there, and and I was just dragging as fast as I could up that mountain, which was not very fast. I'm holding the camera still. I'm holding a very expensive camera, by the way. It's not a cheap little camera. And no one's bothering to help me. No one's walking me up until finally my dad gets all the way up there, realizes that I'm not right behind him, walks all the way back down, grabs my shoulder, and just kind of like, he lets me walk it back up, like he lets me walk it so I can have some dignity because he didn't want to pick me up. But man, I was just like, I was looking at him the entire time, just like these needle stares, just like these dagger stares of I hate everything. I hate everyone. And he didn't say anything, but he looked at me and I just kept staring him straight in the eye. And he was just like, okay. And so I think we made one more stop, and this woman is like, well, let's get out and let's walk around. And I look at her, I just like snap my neck and I just say, F you. And I just basically throw my hoodie over my shoulder, or throw my hoodie over my head, and just throw my head against the door, and I try to go back to sleep. And then she's like, oh, why would you let your son speak to me that way? And I said, he can't stop me. He cannot stop me if he tried. He can threaten me with the biggest butt thrashing. He just threatened me with the biggest belt that he's got. I don't care. F you. Screw you. You get out. You walk around. I hope you slip and break your neck. And of course, again, I've had it. I'm done. Like, oh crap, I have more units. Damn. I need to think about this. I have more units over here. I have had it. I'm done with this woman. I'm only responding to her in the most negative way that I possibly can. Ah, crap. And she is not taking kindly to this. She thinks that I'm being overtly rude and unreasonably like angry at her. And I'm like, woman, I have been with you for a solid year of trips when I should be doing anything else. And every single trip has been a nightmare for a solid year almost, except for the few months we had for school. And you're telling me I'm being unreasonable. You've dragged my butt from like, where we go? We went from, basically from Colorado. So we go for Arizona, Colorado, probably New Mexico, and like one other state, I think. And she thinks that I was being unreasonable by like being very unhappy with her. I do not know why. But she just thought that she was the best thing ever. Even after treating me like garbage, she thought that I should be kissing her feet. Because she's like, well, we feed you. And I was like, no. You don't feed me. My dad is the one that makes the money here. You're unemployed. Just like this woman is so full of herself that she literally could not see how much of an utter bee she was being. It really blew my mind as to how empty this woman's life was. I feel bad for her now because like later on, like as they are getting divorced, because of course they would get divorced after this. Like why would you, or not after this? The final straw was when she literally threw what was it? She threw something sharp and heavy at my dad, and I think that was the final straw for them. But let's see. I need more stuff. Let's do that. Yeah, that was the no more. Like we're done. Thank God that one was awful. What did we just upgrade? Sagittarius. What are Sagittarius? What are those? Can I see the units? That's a guardhouse. Okay, I'm sorry. That's a guardhouse, not a camp. All right, whatever. Anyway, so we get back home, and she has the ball. I mean, this woman had balls. I will give you. I will give her this. She had some nerve. She is horrible. She was extremely horrible. Like, so much so that like I've always told myself that if I ever get married, I'm never getting a divorce. I'd rather die. I would rather die than ever put any of my kids through that stuff, because I was so mortified. Because like, if this is what it's like to have to deal with like step parents, like I never want to be a step parent, and I want to never ever put my kids in a position where they have to be a step parent or they have to deal with step parents. Absolutely not. I will not have it. Let's put you here. Let's start recruiting. I don't know if I'm gonna have time there. I just don't know. She had the nerve, one, to actually toss me my bag when I got out of the car. She didn't wait. She didn't grab it for me. She wasn't kind about it. She just took my bag down from the overhead compartment. Like those, remember those old school like plasticky things that you would stick on the top of cars that would like hold your luggage. She took that, grabbed my bag, which was full of like lots of plasticky things too. Because again, I'm a kid, so I've got Game Boy and other things in there, and just threw it at me. So like she's up on the thing, and she just like not drops it, not tosses it. She overhand throws it to me as I'm getting out of the car, and I grab it, hits me right in the chest, and just doesn't even look at me as I fall to the ground in wheezing in pain. And it's like what I think later on, like so we're what a week away from Christmas at this point, and we're having quote unquote Christmas family dinner. This is no longer about my life being on the line. Now it's just me reminiscing about the horrors of this woman. Like this truly are this horrible people. And actually, like before we even get to that, we all get inside. We're all sitting down, and this woman is incapable of stopping. Like she's incapable of just sitting down and relaxing. She is literally incapable of doing so. Where she immediately turns to everybody and says, "That was so much fun. I can't wait to do it again. But we still have time to do another trip before Christmas break is over." And I look at her, and I've got these wide eyes, and I'm just like, if you tell me where we're going, you will not wake up. It's just like, I basically just looked at her, and I was like, I dare you. I dare you. I dare you to take us on another trip. Somebody's going to have an accident. And I just kind of dead stared her for a little while, and she thought that I was kidding. I was not kidding. I was like, one of us will not be coming back from this next trip. Either you or me will not be surviving the next trip. Because for some reason she had this, I don't know what, I've never met somebody like this before, where someone who's incapable of just sitting down and like watching a movie. Like at the end of a hard day, maybe I'm not in the mood to watch a movie. Yeah, cool. She was incapable of it. Like quite literally incapable of sitting down and just relaxing on the couch, maybe watching a movie or just having a cup of ice cream or something. She was incapable of it, because as soon as like we'd have a weekend, didn't matter what it was, like we had to be up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and we were out until like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, like every day. It was ridiculous. Anyway, long story short, Christmas dinner comes around, and me and my sister are pushed off to the non-main table. We're not allowed to be at the main table. Her family is, and instead of maybe putting the tables together, no, we had to be off at a separate table. Like if you couldn't tell, this woman hated our guts. The fact that we existed was a bane to her existence. Just so everybody could be on the same page. This woman hated our guts, and I do not, to this day, I don't know why, other than the fact that, we weren't her kids. That's the only reason I could think of why she hated us so much. I actually kind of began to relish it a little bit, because I knew that as long as we were around, she would be constantly reminded about how like we weren't her kids, and it was hilarious. let's see. Let's form up my archers. Usually that keeps y'all at bay, so maybe I'll just put you guys here, and then I'll put a spear group right here. Where she actually had all the food on the main table, and we were just sitting at this other table that was kind of like a guest table, those little fold-out tables. And I'm not against it. I mean, like, yeah, there wasn't enough room at the main table, but she, instead of putting the tables together, put us in the other room, which was, it was open, so, like, we could see in there, but we just weren't a part of conversation. We weren't a part of anything. We were just kind of sitting there. And I said, you know what? As much as this is a slight, this is the best gift she could ever give me, because, God, I don't want to be around that woman. She's such a witch. Oh man, and I don't call anybody. I don't think I've ever called anybody that. I've met some really nasty women in my life. I've never called anybody a witch, but I just can't imagine. Like that's what I would consider to be just someone so awful, so awful. Finally, their stupid little rat dog comes up to me. Now, I don't dislike dogs. I like dogs a lot. I actually save animals as much as I possibly can and have more animals under my care than I really care to admit publicly or privately to myself or anyone else. We do? You have reinforcements? Son of a biscuit. And her dog comes up. Now, of course, we don't actually have the food on our table, so we have to go over there, reach over them because for some reason they can't be bothered to just kind of lean over. And we had to get all of our food. And so the rule is don't feed the dog. And so I didn't. And so I don't. And this rat dog, for some reason, they did not bother to train at all about how to like just deal with anybody. So the dog would just like try to leap up into my lap and just start trying to take my food. Of course, I would smack the dog away and be like, what are you doing? Get away from me. I don't know how or why, but for some reason, they thought that I was being overtly mean to the dog. And so they're like, well, you can't just hit the dog and not give her food. And I was just kind of confused going, what does one have to do with the other? Like, you can't just hit the dog. I was like, the dog needs to learn to not be in my lap when I'm eating. I don't see why this is a difficult prospect. Like, I'm not like hitting the dog, like smacking it and crushing it. I'm just like popping it on the nose and knocking it away from me so that it knows, hey, don't do this, don't do that. Just like if you hit him with the newspaper, you're not hurting him, you're just telling them, hey, don't do that. Or like a little nip on the back of the neck. It's not that big of a deal. It's doesn't hurt them. It's not painful for them. It just tells them who's in charge and what not to do. I mean, it's just not a complicated concept. You'd have thought I had tried to eviscerate their dog. Like the girl started crying. I think her son just got overtly defensive about it. I was like, what is going on here? To the point where I had to give the dog my meal after like everybody else had gotten food. There was just enough food for everybody, and apparently there was because the dog got popped on the nose and smacked for being a bad dog, I had to give them my ham. Because I was like, and I was sitting there and I was laughing at it because I was just like, this is the stupidest thing in the world. Like, you're telling me I have to give the dog my food because what again? And it's like, oh, because I was trying to discipline their overtly coddled dog. I to this day don't understand that at all. It's like, I mean, I'm just sitting there and I've got a smile on my face. I'm laughing because it's so ridiculous. I don't know what to do with it. But I said, all right, fine. So I basically just took the ham and I just tossed it across the room onto the carpet. And I said, there you go, dog. Go get the ham. And I basically just took my plate and I just knocked it off the table. And I said, there. Now they can have all of it. That's fine. I'm just going to go down the street to a McDonald's. And so, like, of course, I'm being the one unreasonable now, right? I'm being the unreasonable one. And my dad's not saying anything because he's agreeing with me, but he doesn't want to upset his horrendously unstable wife. And this is when he's starting to realize how unstable his new partner is. As if the long journey of vacations didn't lead us to this point. And she starts getting mad at me She then turns to my dad, and my dad just goes, no, you started it. I'm not finishing it. You did this, not me. So I take her credit card, and she's also a health nut. And the best revenge I could possibly have was letting her look at her credit card bill and seeing a McDonald's order on there, like a food from McDonald's. So I went there and I ordered like double of whatever I wanted, and of course they're not going to stop me because, well, one, that would have been the final straw with my dad. Like, don't touch me. Like, they don't touch me, just as it should be. Like, you're not allowed to hit my kid. You're not allowed to grab my kid. You can tell them they're doing something stupid, but at the end of the day, discipline is my job. So they didn't touch me. I just grabbed her card and I just kind of looked at her in the face. I looked at everybody in the face and I just said, okay, have fun. And I just walked over to McDonald's, which is like a block and a half down the road. And I grabbed myself like 2 number ones, like double order of fries, large Coke. And I just sat there and ate it with a big old smile on my face. And I said, I hope that dog enjoyed her freaking ham because, man, like, I'm having a blast. And, you know, I'm having fun. There's nobody there. It's just me. Because it's like, what? I think it's 2 days before Christmas. There's no one around. It's literally... Oh, crap. There's a lot more people here. Where'd all those reinforcements come from? Jeez. I must have just not been paying attention to the power bar because, man, did I thought I had a lot more... a lot better chance of fighting this than I actually do. So... I then get back home, and of course everything is cleaned up, and I get a stern talking to about respecting other people. Oh man, I sat through the entire thing and just went like, I'm sorry, okay, all right, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that was me being disrespectful. Oh man, it was probably one of the worst Christmases I've ever had in my life because just to get me back, she made sure that I didn't get anything for Christmas from her. And then just to fast forward a few years, they split up, and we actually my dad bought a house secretly from them, and he just was like, I'm not gonna fight you on it. We're just leaving. So we leave, and I'm fine with it. You don't hear me arguing. But she then has this long tirade of like, what happened? What made you want to leave? And I was like, honey, I can't imagine what made me not like you. I just don't know. So I'm now like, what? Jeez, I'm in my early mid-teens maybe at the most. And, you know, whenever we first met, as a peace offering, she got me like, not a peace offering, as a warming gift, like a housewarming gift, or what do we would call it, like a nice to meet you gift. She got me Pokemon cards when I was into Pokemon, like just a single booster deck, and I was ecstatic to get that. And I was like, oh, she's not that bad. I wasn't sure about this woman, but now that I've gotten some Pokemon cards, this is gonna be fantastic, you know, just because I'm a child and, you know, that was stupid because I couldn't read the writing on the wall. And so it gets me better because, like, I'm 15 years old. I'm not, you know, I still have my Pokemon card. Actually, I still have them now. Like, but I'm not actively collecting them or playing with them. But, like, she went and got me Pokemon cards as a peace offering. And I looked at her and I said, do you realize how old I am? Do you know? Because she was like, I don't understand what went wrong between us. And I said, honey, nothing was ever right. What's wrong with you? It's like, at what point did you think that we had a good relationship? It was hilarious. I very rarely snub people or like rub their nose in their own crap, especially whenever they're trying to make peace. But I was like, woman, you're insane. Like, I don't know if you realize you're insane, but you're insane. You're absolutely out of your mind, bonkers. Like, you are so unbalanced, and I've been around a lot of my upbringing was not, as many of you might be picking up on, my upbringing was not exactly peachy. But I had it better than a lot of people, so I don't complain about it. But man, like, I've met a lot of messed up people in my life. Man, just some reference. As a child, like when I was living with my mom, I lived in an apartment complex that was full of drug dealers. So it's like,
There's a lot of messed up people in my life when I was a child, but man, she took the cake. I would have rather been around the drug dealers and their families and the strung out people that were a few blocks down the road, because at least I know they weren't going to try to kill me. Oh man. But the icing on the cake was when she demanded to come into my room in the house that my dad bought. She demanded to come into my room, and she demanded to speak to me. And her peace offering was Pokemon cards because, like, 5 years previously, I liked Pokemon cards. Oh man, that was one of those moments where I looked at her like she was insane, and I was like, "Do you realize how crazy you sound and how crazy you look right now? Like, do you really know how insane you look? I'm 15 years old now. I don't know what. Like, do you even know what I like? It's like, are you even aware? Do you even know how old I am?" Oh man, it was probably the best thing ever. Just watching her, just kind of like that look on her face, like just shrinking. Like, oh, it's like this isn't working. Oh, and I was like, that worked. This trick that you pulled worked when I was a child. It doesn't work as an adult. What's wrong with you? But, but no, I mean, if you want to listen to the read. If you want to listen to the whole story of everything happening, I've pretty much been going on the tirade for it. And again, I'm not doing this to be like, oh, woe's me. It's simply here because my sister told me this, was telling this story to a friend of ours, or I guess friend of hers that became a friend of mine too. And it just, as she was speaking, as she was telling it, I was reliving it, and I was like, this is crazy. I completely forgot about all this stuff. I spent so much time blocking it out that I genuinely didn't remember any of it, and it was really weird. Oh, but man, was just like a really, really weird, like a really weird feeling. But needless to say, that was a very fascinating few years of my life. I had other stuff I'd written down that I wanted to talk about tonight, like the cost of video cards just going through the freaking roof, like life before 9/11, like just stuff that I'd been thinking about. But man, this story just took the cake. I wanted to share it because I was like, I don't know if anybody can like relate to that. I know that there's a lot of people that probably do, or at least they probably have worse step parent stories than me. But man, I was just like, jeez, it's hard to be that. It's hard. Like even not trying it would yield a better result than what that was. And actually, one day, this is the last time I'm gonna say a story about it. There was one day where I had to clean the windows as a punishment for like talking back or something. When talking back, I was probably just like asking a question or something. You know, don't get me wrong, I was a mouthy kid, but I wasn't like rude. Uh, but one day she decides it's time for me to clean the windows, and they've got they at the time they had a 2-story house, lots of windows, fine. So I clean the windows the best as I can, and she's unhappy. So she's fully dressed. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. She's fully dressed, wearing the same thing she had worn yesterday. And this was my first red flag. And as once I became a teenager, I was like, I'm pretty sure she was on drugs. I'm like 80% sure this woman was on drugs, because she was wearing the exact same thing she wore the day before, and she shook me violently awake and said the windows aren't clean at 3 o'clock in the morning. She got my sister up too, because for some reason that was her responsibility as well, even though it was just me. I don't know. And we both had to start cleaning the windows at 3 o'clock in the morning. And at 3 o'clock in the morning. Sorry, I didn't mean to like blast into that, but it just like, as a kid, I was exhausted and was just like, I don't even care right now. Just shut up. I'll go sleep outside in the leaves. Just leave me alone. There was actually one night where she told me to go do something, and I just never came back. I slept on the trampoline in their backyard. I don't know if it was meth. Maybe, I have no idea. I was not an expert, and nor am I now an expert on what people take. I just because I knew the drug dealers in my area does not mean that I actually wanted to be involved with them. Like, I would be involved with their kids. and they just really wouldn't talk about it. But I really wouldn't know what. Yeah, it was crazy, man. I shut all of this out, all of it, until my sister started telling these stories, and I was like, jeez. I mean, it's literally like one of those stories where like it just kind of floods back into your memory, because as she was telling it, I would just without me trying to, I just the memories. It was almost like I was reliving it. It was crazy. I was kind of like, jeez, man, like that was just utterly insane. It doesn't make any sense. The other one was nuts, absolutely nuts. May you never meet someone that unstable or horrible in your entire life. If I think of any other stories, definitely I'll definitely share them, because you know, people like that deserve to be called out, even though I'm not going to say her name. But okay, I guess you're not going this way. People like that deserve to be called out, and I think that kind of behavior is unacceptable. But yeah, she almost killed me multiple times. Like, or at least, sorry, not that she did it. She would put me in situations that would basically be very dangerous. There was one time where she tried to convince my dad to take us rock climbing, and I literally said, I will not go. I won't go. I refuse. I will stay here. I will lock myself in the garage. I would rather stay locked in the garage where you can't open it, because our garage was really weird. Like, you couldn't open it from the outside unless you already had, like, unless it was already unlocked. And you could only lock it from the inside. So, you couldn't accidentally lock yourself in. Like, we had deadbolts. I don't know why this garage had deadbolts, and I didn't want to know. So, like, I basically said, I'd rather lock myself in the garage than go on this trip. And my dad was like, it can't be that bad. Come on, let's go. And I said, nope. And I grabbed a bag of potato chips, I grabbed a loaf of bread, and I walked my butt into the garage, and I deadbolted the door, and I said, you tell me whenever you're done, as I ain't going. And, of course, I was being unreasonable again. Jeez, there's so many of these. And because of my little, well, actually, the cars were in the garage, too, so they couldn't go anywhere. So I said, nope, you ain't going nowhere. Till finally they said, okay, fine, we're not going to go on the rock climbing trip. So I was like, I know for a fact I'm not coming back from that trip. Based on how I know this woman operates, she's going to put me in a position where, like, my line's going to get cut, or something crazy is going to happen where I will not have a choice, but I will just simply just find myself falling to my death. And at no point, yeah, no, seriously, no, you really, I straight up said, like, this woman's going to get me killed. And I told my dad that, and he was just like, I think you're overreacting. And I was like, I think you're underreacting. Like, this woman, why is it that every time I go on a trip with this woman, either me or my sister almost ends up getting killed? Like, no lie, no joke, just straight up, like, we're talking real, like, serious injury or, like, malnourishment. Meanwhile, her kids, of course, are always well fed and well taken care of, but not us. Again, like, I think it's one of those things my dad didn't want to see. He didn't want to see it, so he tried desperately to, ignore that. I mean, which is fair. I mean, like, there's a certain point where it's like, you don't want to be convinced that your decision is bad, but at the same time, like, oof. Ah, crap, I didn't put y'all over here, which is where y'all should be. But yeah, she was angry at me for like a month solid for that, because I wouldn't go on that stupid trip of hers, and I was like, I told her to her face, I'm not letting you kill me. And she's like, I would never, why would I want to do that? And I was like, really? I don't know why you want to, you've just been trying to for like a year and a half. Oh, man. But I think that, like, I'll tell one last story. I know I said that already. I'll tell one last story because it's probably the one. You were talking about trauma. This is the most traumatizing one. This one might actually be traumatizing now that I'm remembering it. The most traumatizing moment was after a very long day of school and work, or not work. I'm sorry. I was volunteering. I don't even know what I was volunteering for. I was like doing lots of yard work, so it was lots of manual labor, and it was the middle of summer. It was extremely hot, and so I came home. I was just beat down and tired, and so I basically get home, and I'm taking a shower, right? So I'm taking a shower. I get out of the shower, and all of a sudden I hear there's like a little airlock into the bathroom. So there's like the you walk in, then there's like the vanity, and then there's like a cupboard where you put your towels, and then there's another door that goes to the bathroom. So there's kind of like a little airlock thing going on, and I hear the first door swing open, and I violently, and I said, "Oh my god, what was that about? It must have been her son or something just having a bad day." So I'm finishing up my shower. I'm getting out of the shower. I'm butt naked. Like, I'm getting my towel. I'm reaching for my towel without knocking, without anything. She just throws the door open. And this is where things get really weird. She's butt-ass naked. And she's angry. Because she wanted to take a shower. And I took all the hot water. And I am stunned. I genuinely don't know what to do here, and I start going like, "What the hell are you doing?" And she reaches for me to grab me, and of course I like lurch back because she's angry. She's screaming something at me. I have no idea what it is. I don't know. And she is at this time yelling at me, and like I have a naked woman, like what, a woman in her 40s. Screaming at me, screaming at the top of her lungs about how there's no hot water, and it takes me a little bit to figure out what it is that she is saying to me, and I am mortified. I don't have a towel on yet. I'm still butt naked. I'm like covering myself up and going, dude, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm now yelling for my dad. I'm like, Dad! And of course he's not home. He's at work. I think he's at work. The worker, he was doing something, and I'm like, anybody, somebody, like anyone, and she won't let me leave, and she's completely naked, straight up naked, and I'm like, what is wrong with this person? What is wrong with these people? What is wrong with this family? Like, until finally she has, I don't know if she kind of comes back to her senses or realize how bad this looks, but like her youngest daughter walks in and has the same reaction that I would have, which is, what's going on? And she's like, nothing. And he took all the hot water, and she's like, okay, why are you naked? Like, the questions that I would have asked had I had the wherewithal. I was just like, she's like, well, because I was going to take a shower. And she's just like, she's also trying to process what's going on. And she's like, you don't take a shower at this time normally. Why are you trying to take a shower right now, Mom? It's like, because, like, and she's like, because I felt like it. I was like, what is wrong with you, woman? Like, you just decided because I'm taking a shower that you needed to take a shower, and you realized that was a good way to get angry at me or something. Oh my god, this woman had so many problems. It was like, I don't think there's a pill invented even today that could help someone with this level of psychosis. I told my dad when he got home, and he was just like, I don't believe you. That's too ridiculous. And I was like, Dad, I promise you, I'm not lying. And he's like, you do realize how far-fetched this sounds, right? I said, Dad, I promise you, this is not a joke. This is not me having a game. This is not me trying to make this funny, because this sounds so stupid and so horrendous and so inappropriate. This sounds like a joke. I would think it would be one of the funniest jokes that I would ever tell. But this isn't a joke. He had to go around and ask her daughters if it happened. And of course, they corroborated part of the story. They kind of toned down part of the craziness. But, like, allegedly they had a conversation about appropriate behavior around children. And I don't know. And, you know, at least she never got naked around me again. So I guess there's that small blessing. Oh my gosh. Talk about a woman that just literally had no concept of just decency or humanity. And the thing is, I've met her parents. Her parents are completely fine people. Like, I mean, they're very loving and lovely people. And I actually, her dad was a pastor, is a very lovely person, and very gentle person, very kind person. I was like, I don't know where she gets this from, and even he was like, I don't know where she gets this from. Oh man, reminiscing about the good old days. I wonder how many other memories that I've just blocked out. I need my sister to tell more stories so I can maybe remember some of them. Maybe I'll have some kind of epiphany. Alright, at the end of this turn, I think it is time to call it a night. Ooh, almost 3 hours. That being said, it is Friday, so... Oh, somebody died of natural causes? No!
The bonuses awarded from dilemma decisions, events, mission rewards,
Let's see.
are displayed.
No, I remembered them. All the stuff that I was going to talk about just got pushed to the wayside because I was like, man, I got to tell these stories, dude. They're so insane. I'm not sure I believe them.
Case of faction threats.
But I once she told them, I remember very specific details. Unfortunately, I even remember details about her walking in into my shower naked. I was like, oh my god, what's going on? Let's see, what turn is? So we started at 14, and now we are at 18. Oh, we got 4 turns in tonight. That's great. So, I hope everybody enjoyed watching. If you want to hear the whole story, you'll have to go back to the beginning. I know it's a 3-hour stream that you'd have to listen to because a large chunk of it is... Actually, no, not large chunk. The whole thing is that. I hope you all have a good Friday night. Actually, no, it's not Friday anymore. It is Saturday now. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. I hope to see y'all tomorrow when I pick back up playing Bioshock Infinite. I will see you all then. Have a good night.